Glass. Glass is written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and it is his third film in his superhero trilogy, previous films being Unbreakable and Split, and this film stars James McAvoy, Bruce Willis, and Samuel L. Jackson. The plot of this film is we follow David Dunn, played by Bruce Willis, back in this role, and he is searching for the Horde, or Kevin Wendell Crumb, played by James McAvoy. After a fight, they both end up in a mental institution with Elijah Price, aka Mr. Glass, played by Samuel L. Jackson, and a psychiatrist is doing special treatments for their superpowers. Now, I was really looking forward to Glass. This has been one of my most anticipated movies of 2019. I loved both Unbreakable and Split. Unbreakable, I think, is one of Shyamalan's best movies. It was definitely ahead of the time since that movie came out in 2000, and how Shyamalan did something different with the superhero movie genre and making a more realistic superhero movie and not in a typical way. I think it's one of Shyamalan's best movies, and it's got two excellent performances from both Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. And Split, I think, is a great psychological thriller with an incredible performance from James McAvoy, and I wish James McAvoy was nominated for Best Actor for his absolutely incredible performance in that movie. How he managed to pull off a role of a man with multiple personalities and making that role work is amazing. And at the end of that movie, when it revealed it took place in the same universe as Unbreakable, and when we saw David Dunn at the diner saying the words Mr. Glass, just like, what? And I was completely surprised when I saw that ending, and when I heard Shyamalan was bringing both characters from Unbreakable and Split into one movie, I got so excited. And the trailers for this movie were great. This has been one of my most anticipated movies of 2019. I was so looking forward to this movie. Although I was hearing mixed reviews, some people liked this movie, some people thought it was okay, and there were some people who didn't like this movie or hated it. And I was nervous before watching this movie, and right now it has a Rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes. Last time I checked before watching this movie, it has 36%, so I was nervous about the mixed reactions, but I was still excited for this movie. Went in with an open mind, just hoping to enjoy this movie, and happy to say, I did enjoy Glass for what it was. There were definitely some things I liked about Glass. However, I did have some flaws with it. I was still satisfied with this movie. However, I do think it is the weakest of Shyamalan's superhero trilogy. Not as good as Unbreakable and Split, but still a good movie, and I did enjoy this movie for what it was. To start off with the positives, first, the performances are great. Especially, by far, the best performance in this movie is James McAvoy, who is absolutely excellent in this movie and continues to kill it in this role. I just can't believe for a role like this to not only work once, but twice is absolutely amazing, and just terrific acting by James McAvoy. Yeah, the different voices and mannerisms and movements for each personality, and whichever ones would bring fear or even comedy. Just absolutely amazing just how well this role worked twice. And by James McAvoy's incredible performance, he is absolutely amazing in this movie, and by far the best performance in this movie, and my favorite part about this movie. I just can't believe James McAvoy hasn't been nominated for an Oscar yet. He's right now becoming one of my favorite actors. Before the twist and Split, I was hoping we would see another collaboration between Bruce Willis and M. Night Shyamalan, since they made great films in the past, Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, and it was great seeing another collaboration with them. Although I do feel like David Dunn was sidelined a bit in this movie, I still thought Bruce Willis was really good in this movie, and happy to see Bruce Willis giving a good performance in the movie. And last time I've seen a really good performance from Bruce Willis would be Looper. It's certainly been a while since I've seen a really good Bruce Willis performance, and he was still really good in this movie, and hopefully this is not the last time we see both Willis and Shyamalan collaborate. And Samuel L. Jackson was really great in this movie, and the majority of the scenes where he doesn't have dialogue at all and it's just his facial expressions, and just amazing acting by Samuel L. Jackson. And it's like 19 years after Unbreakable, and he has not left this role. He's great in this movie. And I gotta say, Shyamalan did a great job directing this movie. There was some terrific cinematography here. I love the shots in this movie. And I also really like the long take shots that Shyamalan uses in this movie. Particularly this one long take shot between Mr. Glass and Kevin. In the film, there were these lights that are used on Kevin, and whenever they would shine a light, Kevin would go from one personality to another. And during that scene where Mr. Glass is talking to Kevin while shining the lights on him, and it's all done in this one take, and I'm just like, how did that take work? Just how did they do that? And surprisingly, there was more action in this movie than I was expecting. It wasn't like an action-packed movie, but I got a little more action scenes in this movie than I was expected. particularly the fight scenes between David Dunn and the Beast. I thought those scenes were both intense and brutal to watch. And also, I was really enjoying the first 2 acts of this movie. This was an engaging watch. I was never bored, despite this movie having a slow pace. I was never really bored. This movie kind of flew by for me, and I wasn't really bored throughout this film. Sadly, I do have some flaws with this movie. I will get to those right now. First flaw I want to mention is the third act. Not that it's bad, but wasn't quite as strong as the first 2 acts, mostly because of the twist ending. Now I will say this, there was actually one reveal in the climax that I actually did like. It was like, okay, I do like that reveal, that's a pretty good one. And then the twist ending happens, and right at that point, I said, oh, now I understand why this film was getting mixed reactions, and didn't quite leave me satisfied, and just like, I wasn't really satisfied with the twist ending of this movie. It's just like, really? That was the twist? Another flaw I want to mention, I feel like Shyamalan uses POV shots a bit too much in this movie. First time I didn't mind it, but I feel like he started to overuse them and it started getting on my nerves after a while. And one flaw I want to mention is, there's this piece of dialogue at the beginning of this movie, and at the opening scene, David Dunn is tracking down these 2 guys, and one of them assaulted someone, and the other person is recording this, and he goes to their house, and when he's sneaking into their house, and one of them says, "I'm going to Salt Bay you," and just like, did he really just say that? Was there really a Salt Bay joke in this movie? Oh my god. What? Why? Did he literally just say that? And in the next scene, his son explains to him what Salt Bay is. Oh, Dad, Salt Bay is an internet thing. I'm just like, oh, no, this is making me cringe, no. And one final flaw, and also in the third act, there were moments where Mr. Glass says things that are similar to a comic book. It was like, that sounds like the bad guys teaming up. Or in another scene, there's a scene where he says to a doctor, "This is the moment where you have question marks over your head right now," and there were moments like that in the third act of this movie, and it's trying to tell us, like, this is similar to a comic book. Like, I get that, but show, don't tell. Didn't need to tell us that it was similar to a comic book. I'm pretty sure we could figure that out on our own. Overall, despite those flaws, I did enjoy Glass for what it was. Got great acting, it's a very well shot movie, terrific cinematography. However, the third act wasn't quite as strong as the first 2 acts, especially with the disappointing twist ending. I wouldn't mind watching this movie again and interested to see what Shyamalan does next. And do you have to watch both Unbreakable and Split before watching this movie? I think it would help, but if you just want to go in watching this movie, enjoy it, and if you haven't seen those 2 movies, I think you'll enjoy it fine. Before the twist ending, I was going to give Glass 4 stars out of 5. However, when that twist endings happen and didn't quite leave me satisfied, I am going to give Glass 3.5 stars out of 5. I did enjoy this movie for what it was, despite its flaws, and I do recommend checking it out. So what do you guys think of Glass? Do you agree? Disagree with me? Let me know below. Make sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new here. It really means a lot. I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.